enormous blind spot in this culture that carries on until this day, and that the framers had that same blind spot. I don't think the two views are contradictory to say that it was a remarkable political document that paved the way for where we are now, and to say that it also reflected the fundamental flaw of this country that continues to this day.
Good morning and welcome to Odyssey on WBEZ Chicago 91.5 FM. And we're joined by Barack Obama, who is Illinois State Senator from the 13th District and a senior lecturer in the law school at the University of Chicago.
You know, if you look at the victories and failures of the civil rights movement and its litigation strategy in the court, I think where it succeeded was to vest formal rights in previously dispossessed peoples, so that I would now have the right to vote. I would now be able to sit at a lunch counter and order, and as long as I could pay for it, I'd be okay. But the Supreme Court never ventured into the issues of redistribution of wealth and sort of more basic issues of political and economic justice in the society. And to that extent, as radical as I think people tried to characterize the Warren Court, it wasn't that radical. It didn't break free from the essential constraints that were placed by the Founding Fathers in the Constitution, at least as it's been interpreted, and Warren Court interpreted it in the same way, that generally the Constitution is a charter of negative liberties, says what the states can't do to you, says what the federal government can't do to you, but it doesn't say what the federal government or the state government must do on your behalf. And that hasn't shifted, and one of the, I think, the tragedies of the civil rights movement was because the civil rights movement became so court-focused, I think that there was a tendency to lose track of the political and community organizing and activities on the ground that are able to put together the actual coalitions of power through which you bring about redistributive change. And in some ways, we still suffer from that.
Good morning, Karen. You're on Chicago Public Radio.
Hi. The gentleman made the point that the Warren Court wasn't terribly radical. My question is, with economic changes, my question is it too late for that kind of reparative work economically, and is that the appropriate place for reparative economic work to take place?
You mean the court?
The courts, or would it be legislation at this point?
Yeah, you know, maybe I'm showing my bias here as a legislator as well as a law professor, but you know, I'm not optimistic about bringing about major redistributive change through the courts. You know, the institution just isn't structured that way. You know, you just look at very rare examples where during the desegregation era, the court was willing to, for example, order you know, changes that cost money to a local school district. And the court was very uncomfortable with it. It was hard to manage. It was hard to figure out. You start getting into all sorts of separation of powers issues, you know, in terms of the court monitoring or engaging in a process that essentially is administrative and takes a lot of time. You know, the court's just not very good at it, and politically, it's very hard to legitimize opinions from the court in that regard. So, I mean, I think that although you can craft theoretical justifications for it legally, you know, I think you can. Any three of us sitting here could come up with a rationale for bringing about economic change through the courts.
Plan's going to tax me. 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 Plan's going to tax me more, isn't it?
It's not that I want to punish your success. I just want to make sure that everybody who is behind you, that they've got a chance at success too. I think when you spread the wealth around, spread the wealth around, spread the wealth around, spread the wealth around, it's good for everybody. I just want to make sure that everybody's got a chance at success too. It's good for everybody.